Mr. Speaker, the Housing Minister claims to have the most robust housing agenda in the history of this House. But Canadians have heard this story before because the man making that claim was also the Mayor of Vancouver during one of the most disgraceful chapters in Canadian housing history. Under his watch, Vancouver became a global hotspot for money laundering, shady real estate deals, and housing speculation. Drug cartel money flowed freely through casinos and into luxury condos. Homes weren't being built for families, they were being used as safe deposit boxes for dirty money. And where was he? Not taking action, not standing up for working Canadians. He turned a blind eye. And when researchers exposed what was happening, when members of Vancouver's own Chinese community raised the alarm, he didn't listen. He dismissed the findings. He smeared the critics. He chose to protect the developers and the insiders and the money men. He let the crisis grow, and hard-working families paid the price. That's not just failure, that's a complete lack of integrity. And now this same man wants us to trust him to solve Canada's housing crisis. Mr. Speaker, this is not a man who builds trust, this is a man who abandons it, and the people who depend on it every time. Not only that, the Liberal program he now defends simply don't work. They don't look good on paper, and they certainly don't work in practice. Just ask the families trying to get their first home. Ask the single moms stuck in rentals that drain every last dime. These programs didn't even base affordable housing on what people actually earn. Instead, they used market rent during a housing crisis, which is sky high, and just knocked off a few dollars. That means in Vancouver or Toronto, if market rent is, say, $3,000, they call $2,400 affordable. But for the people who actually need help, that's not affordable at all. Not for low-income seniors, not for the young family trying to start out, not for the immigrant working 2 jobs to make ends meet. Calling something affordable doesn't make it true. Now, the minister knows full well that these programs don't create truly affordable housing. He's a clever man, a wealthy man. He owns multiple properties. Would he ever build housing based on what low-income Canadians can actually afford? Of course not. He wouldn't make the big returns. And that's the real issue here. These programs aren't built to fix the problem. They're built to protect the insiders, to keep the system working for people like him, while everyone else is left behind. The single moms, the seniors, the working-class Canadians who just want a fair shot and get nothing. So forgive us, Mr. Speaker, if we don't believe him, because this isn't about slogans, it's about people, real people who have failed again and again, who have been failed again and again by those who are supposed to lead. The minister can stand up and repeat his talking points all he wants, but Canadians have lived through the reality. They see the truth clearly now. What little homes are being built aren't truly affordable, the numbers don't match the promises, and most importantly, the trust that Canadians once had in their leaders is gone. This isn't going to be the most robust housing agenda in Canadian history. It's going to be more smoke and mirrors. Mr. Speaker, the government has failed to build homes and failed to protect the people who need them most. And this former mayor failed Vancouver, turned a blind eye while housing crisis exploded and working families were pushed out. There's no reason to believe he'll do any better on a national scale. In fact, there's every reason to believe it will be far worse under his direction. So, if he couldn't fix housing in one city, why on earth would Canadians trust him with the entire country?
Parliamentary Secretary to the Minister of Housing and Infrastructure.
Mr. Speaker, thank you to the member for her question. We agree Canadians deserve safe and affordable housing that meets their needs. That's why the Government of Canada has put together an ambitious housing plan that will take bold action to unlock private investment, cut red tape, and lower the cost of home building across the country. We are committed to doubling the current rate of construction to 500,000 homes per year. We know rising construction costs, labor shortages, and the increasing cost of materials are barriers to building. That's why we're changing how we build, and we are creating Build Canada Homes. This new, lean, mission-driven federal entity will accelerate the development of new affordable housing. It will invest in the growth of the prefabricated and modular housing industry and will provide significant financing to affordable home builders. Build Canada Homes will catalyze a new housing industry using Canadian innovation, Canadian workers, and Canadian lumber to build homes by Canadians for Canadians. We are also supporting first-time home buyers with targeted financial measures by eliminating the goods and services tax, GST, on homes valued at or under $1 million, and by reducing the GST for homes up to $1.5 million. We are lowering upfront costs and therefore making it more affordable for young Canadians to enter the housing market. Combined with tools like the tax-free first home savings account, we are making it easier to save for a down payment and achieve the dream of home ownership. In addition to these measures, we are making historic investments in new housing all across Canada. We are investing in purpose-built rental supply through the Apartment Construction Loan Program, and we are launching the Canada Rental Protection Fund to help community housing providers acquire housing, preserve existing rental stock, and keep rent stable over the long term. In addition, we are strengthening investments in community housing through the Affordable Housing Fund, which is helping to build and repair thousands of deeply affordable homes across the country. And we have launched the Cooperative Housing Development Program, which is the largest investment to build new co-op housing in the last 30 years. This is how we deliver for Canadians. This is how we build resilience. This is how we build Canada strong.
The honourable member for Cloverdale, Langley City.
So this housing minister, isn't starting with a clean slate. His record in Vancouver is well known. As investigative journalist Sam Cooper documented in his book Willful Blindness, his city hall was part of what he calls the Vancouver model, where laundered crime money, foreign cartels, and offshore investment fueled skyrocketing housing prices while honest families were locked out. Now he claims to lead the most robust housing agenda in history. With that track record, I'm sorry, but Canadians don't believe it. 10 years of Liberal broken promises and only 309 homes to show for millions in investment. You can spin all you like, but credibility matters. Build trust first, because right now his reputation precedes him. Why would Canadians believe a word he says?
The Honourable Parliamentary Secretary.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. The Government of Canada recognizes that every person in Canada deserves a place to call home. That's why we've launched an ambitious plan to unlock private investment, cut red tape, and build housing at a scale and speed this country hasn't seen in decades. That's what we brought to Canadians in April. That's what we were elected to do. We are working together with all our partners to use every tool available to get the job done. From concept to construction, the Government of Canada is increasing the pace of home building to build the homes we need and lower costs for Canadians. Under the Ministry of Housing and Infrastructure, under our minister's leadership, through Build Canada Homes and other federal investments like the Affordable Housing Fund and the Cooperative Housing Development Program, we are building up Canada's housing supply like never before and building Canada strong.